Damn it, I got caught on my headphone cable. Welcome to Album Quest Day 6, where I have challenged myself to listen to one new album for every day of 2024. This is Day 6, and today we've got The Crane Wife up here. The Crane Wife by the Decemberists. And I gotta say that I knew basically nothing about this going in. That's how it's going to be for a lot of these. I haven't heard I didn't hear any of the songs or the singles. I didn't even know who the Decemberists were. I didn't recognize the cover art. But I gotta say, this is actually a pretty impressive record. It's just based on some peripheral reading that I did. It's based on two song cycles. The Island up here, and then Crane Wife 1 and 2. Down here, which I think is actually pretty cool. It runs for just about an hour, which means it's kind of split into two different 30-minute halves, and that's pretty cool. I definitely think I prefer the first half, because we have like Crane Wife 3 is a pretty good solid starting track. The Island is incredible. It's 12 and a half minutes, but like it from what I've heard, is based on The Tempest by William Shakespeare, and just takes this lyrical and sonic journey throughout the entire song that really starts the album off strong and really well, and like kind of sets the mood for how this album just has so much stuff to really dig into. Like, I listened to it this morning, and all I could think of while I was at work today was just like, man, I really need to be like looking into more of like the lyrics and like figuring out what all the meanings are and stuff. Even just from the title, The Crane Wife. I looked it up, and it's based on the old Japanese folk tale that of like a crane who appears to a man. And in the instance of this album, this fable is kind of laid out in the Crane Wife 1 and 2, where there's this crane that shows up in front of this guy's house, and in this instance has an arrow, or has been like pierced by an arrow and is like wounded, and then like he takes the crane into his home and nurses it back to health, and it turns out that this is like the crane is like a shape-shifting woman, and then they get married, and then in order to get by, she like makes clothes and stuff, but he doesn't. She tells him like, "Hey, you can't be looking," and then he gets greedy and he looks, and it turns out she has, in the crane form, been plucking her feathers out to make the clothes. And when his greed overtakes him, she flies away. And I think, like, given that context, this album reeks of war more than I really realized when I first listened to it. But like, there are a lot of themes here of like the pain that conflict like that causes. There's even direct songs about like soldiers who died or survived in conflict, like Yankee Bayonet, O Valencia, and When the War Came, are all like definitively about war and like not battles, but just like wartime and the like tumultuous moments and stuff like that. As for how it sounds, though, it's definitely interesting. It's not super my type of thing, but it's not bad. Like I definitely could see that someone else might appreciate this more than me. It's kind of like it's classified indie folk. I definitely hear like the folk aspects, but it sounds more like folk pop to me than indie folk personally, because sometimes you get like the Hammond organ in there. There's a couple moments where the steel guitar kicks in, and every song with the steel guitar on it kicks ass. I don't care what song it's on, like, or what genre or whatever. You just throw that on any song. Throw that on Tupac, and he's already, Anyway, like the way it sounds is definitely it gives the impression of like kind of grassroots, really small town stuff, and it's talking about a world that is much bigger than the band itself and like even what they're used to, but they tackle the way like they tackle the songs in a very mature and very deep and thought out way. Um, like I definitely gotta recommend this if that sounds interesting to you. Um, I'm definitely going to revisit this at some point, both in the lyrics and in the sound, because there's a lot to really sink my teeth into here, and I am very excited personally to do that. I would give this album a 5.5 out of 7. It's a great album. My favorite song is, I mentioned earlier, The Craned Wife 1 and 2. A couple other highlights, obviously The Island. It's really between this one and The Crane Wife 1 and 2. These are like the foundation of the album, and there's a reason because they're good as hell. But other than those, I like Yankee Bayonet. I like When the War Came, Summer Song. I'd say the weakest song is definitely Culling of the Fold. And it turns out that this was added just for the digital release, and it's not actually on the regular album. So my original complaint with this, where Sons and Daughters was the perfect closer for the album, and then it just had another song on there, I don't have to worry about it anymore, because ideally like, you know, you just don't listen to the last song. You stop it after Sons and Daughters is finished, which is a beautiful track, by the way. A really great use of like a round that I don't hear a lot of anymore. But yeah, definitely check this out. And if you have anything that you would like me to check out, any album recommendations, put them in the comments below. I read them all, and I'm very happy to receive any recommendations, because I'm going to be doing this for a full year. I'm going to need some more albums to fill out my list. If you enjoyed, let me know, and I will see you on day 7 of Album Quest. Bye-bye.